Hey, gun people! Man, this is a great case. So let me fire and police videos. This guy's doing some. He's got 70,000 subscribers. Let me give him a sub and a like. Okay, so this sheriff in New Mexico, the police department serves a warrant on the sheriff to get his cell phones. This is a really interesting case because it goes back to everyone always saying the sheriff is the highest law enforcement land, blah, 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 blah. But here you're going to see a police department who brings his blue line officers and basically pushes the sheriff around. And the sheriff loses. Now, the sheriff may be wrong. But this is where you get government feeding on government when you have corruption. And this is why it's so hard to get corruption cases, because government doesn't like to use government against government. So, a little backdrop. This guy works for the police department. This guy's a sheriff. He's a deputy sheriff. And they're locking down the building and forcing him in at this scene. So let's look at this from the beginning, and I'll kind of give you some intel and background on what's going on. So as you can tell, there's quite a bit of sheriff cars already at the sheriff's office. So this is the sheriff's office. This is a police detective serving a warrant, who I might add is pretty weak. Had I was serving this warrant, it would have been a lot different. And whoever made this damn video, you know what? Because you got this big-ass sign here messing up the video, I'm going to unsubscribe. And I'm not going to like. It's freaking ridiculous. You want to do videos, but you got to get your shit all over it. Anyway, I digress. So, here he goes, going up to serve the warrant. And I'm going to put this at 1.5 just because it's pretty slow going.
It's locked. Public building.
Okay, so there's a problem when you're going to serve a warrant, the door's locked. Now, all warrants, you can force entry to serve it. So, if they wanted to kick this door, they could. Obviously, they didn't want to. They're going into a place with armed deputies. They're the police. There's already conflict between the city and the county. And I'll go into the article afterwards. But this stems from a case to where the sheriff evidently has been communicating with a couple felons when the police are trying to arrest them. And in one case, the sheriff showed up drunk, according to the police. He showed up drunk and was communicating with the guy inside on a standoff. And they tried to get him to leave, and he wouldn't leave. So they want his cell phone because when they end up arresting the guy, they see messages from the sheriff to him. So obviously, the sheriff's committing a crime. They got enough for obstruction, and they went and got a warrant for it. And now they want to seize the sheriff, not one of the sheriff deputies, the sheriff, the elected sheriff. They want his cell phone, personal and work phone. And here's how it goes. Okay, so this is the undersheriff. So the undersheriff is appointed by the sheriff. So obviously this guy's going to be loyal to the sheriff.
Sheriff, we just need to speak with him.
This is the sheriff. Now, this guy does so many things wrong, I can't even imagine, but the deputy who's serving this, or the police who's serving this, is really weak. I mean, look, when you get a warrant and a court order to seize evidence, any peace officer, once you serve that warrant, that evidence is yours, and you have to protect it, and you can't allow it to be manipulated, destroyed, or taken out of your presence. That's why when we go to a house and people won't let us in, and we have to secure the house, but while we go get a warrant, we have people step outside because we don't want them destroying evidence while we're getting a warrant. In this case, you already have a warrant. You know the evidence that you want is the cell phones, and you watch the sheriff give it to his undersheriff, and then you allow the undersheriff to walk around unchecked with the evidence. They could have deleted all kind of stuff. Now, we're still going to be able to get it when you go through the phone if they deleted it, etc. But If I was serving this warrant, I guarantee you this wouldn't have happened.
You want to do it in here? You want to here? What? We still have a couple of situations.
Okay, so he tells him, we're serving you a search warrant, one on your personal cell phone and one on your cell phone. Notice the armed guys that work for the sheriff that he hires, that he can fire, that he writes their investigate or their appraisals, and he's allowed to pay them or not pay them or fire them. Notice them with their guns standing behind their man. And there's only 2 police officers in here doing this. Okay, at first, the sheriff is like, I don't know if I ought to take this. Now, which tells me the sheriff isn't too smart, because I don't give a shit if you take the warrant or not. Once I give it to you and give you the opportunity, I don't care whether you take it. It's served. This warrant is considered served at the moment he says, I'm serving a search warrant. Here's a copy of the warrant. I'm required to offer you a copy. I'm not required that you take it and that you read it and that you call your attorney. None of that shit matters. So the fact that the sheriff doesn't want to take the warrant, somehow trying to impress these guys, trying to say, hey, I don't have to take this warrant. If I don't take it, then it's not served, tells me he don't really know what the hell he's doing anyway. But anyway, that's my take. Okay, he takes his phone out and he hands it to his undersheriff. Like that somehow prevents the cell phone from being taken. Again, tells me the sheriff doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Whether or not it's on him or someone else. See, right here, and I know you people are going to say, you're full of shit, you wouldn't have done that. Look, I served a warrant on our probation department on the head probation officer. And I told this, I think, in one of my crazy cop stories. And a short, low-down version is, I had a child abduction case. Grandma was coming. I knew she was sending money to the kids. I just couldn't find out where the kids were at. She was helping them. I wanted to record her interview so I could get intel when she was visiting her granddaughter in a probation department. So I asked the probation officer, hey, I need to record when they see each other. And the probation officer was like, no, because they're a left-wing socialist. Probation is all about protecting their clients, protecting the criminals. So he's like, no, we don't allow recordings. Do you see the signs? There's no recordings in here. I go, look, I'm conducting a criminal investigation. I need to record them. This is information. She has information that will help me recover kids that were illegally stolen. No, you can't record them. I go, look, I don't want to go get a warrant. He goes, go get your warrant. I go, okay. So I go get a warrant, and the DA has to review it. And the DA just laughed and go, man, this ain't going to play well. But he goes, you're right. You're entitled to information. He's got to let you record them. So he signed a warrant. So when I give it to the judge is like, and this is a judge that I had, hundreds of warrants through, so he knew me. So he would just sign my warrants without reading them if I wanted to. I always ask him to read them. And he tried the same thing this time. I give him a warrant. And he's like, oh, okay, you want a warrant? Okay. And he starts to sign. I go, Judge, you might want to read this. I said, this is on the probation department. And he drops his pen and looks at me with his eyes all bugged out. And he goes, you're doing a warrant on the probation, our probation department in our county? And I go, yeah. He goes, does the DA know about this? I go, yeah, the DA signed off on it. He goes, the DA or one of his assistants? I go, no, the DA. And he goes, oh, I got to call him. I don't know if I can sign this. So he calls the DA and tries to talk the DA out of it. And the DA ends up telling him, look, it's a valid warrant. We want the warrant. So he signs it. And he goes, man, I'm signing it. Good luck. And he was like, you're stepping in a pile of worms. And it caused a little problems, but I don't care. So anyway, I went over and served the warrant. The guy tried to whittle his way out of it. He ended up still not complying with the warrant. And I don't know if I went through this and thing, but I got the warrant to record him. I set up the recording device for their visit, and the probation officer was pissed off, so he had him seen in a different room. So I didn't get any information. It was lost. I was freaking pissed, but I wanted to arrest him, and the DA was like, "No, we won't arrest him. Well, I'll serve him with an order to show cause, and we'll drag him in front of a judge, and we'll make him show why he did this and make him justify it in front of a judge in open court." So, and of course, nothing happened. The guy got away with it. I lost the info. End up getting the kids back years ago. But anyway, I digress. So when somebody tells me that I wouldn't do what I'm telling you I'm about to do, believe me, I would have done it. As soon as I gave this guy this warrant, the warrant was served. As soon as I saw that phone, I would have went, look, that phone is mine. That's evidence. I've got a court order to seize it. I see it. That is my phone. You can either give it to me or I will arrest you and take it. But this is going to stop right here. I know you have the evidence that I need. I served you the warrant. You handed it to him and playing this stall technique ain't cutting it. You either give me that phone or you're under arrest. And anybody that tries to stop me is under arrest for obstruction or interfering. So, I mean, that's the way this should have went down. But because it's law enforcement and the blue line and we're all brothers, they totally screw the pooch. This case, no evidence on that phone. They walk in and out of here with the evidence. This is ridiculous. So he hands it to his undersheriff, says, hold on to that. Now this undersheriff is going to say, hey, I was given an order by my sheriff to hold on to this. I ain't giving you this. And the fight would have been on. He would have been in cuffs. We'd have been fighting all these guys. I ain't playing that shit. But, you know, and I know guys that come here, oh, you're full of shit. Yeah, fuck you. You don't know me. And you don't know how I did business. But whatever. Anybody that knows me knows damn well it would have been on like Donkey Kong had they not given me that phone. All right, here we go.
Filed today?
So call Nate. I'm assuming Nate is the county attorney or the county guy.
This is not. It's a salvage case. What case is this?
So that is in reference to stemming from the original charges.
Which one? The misdemeanor?
So that
You
one.
got a search warrant on a misdemeanor.
Again, the sheriff doesn't know what he's talking about. You can get a search warrant. A lot of people think you can only get a search warrant for a felony. It's any public offense, misdemeanor or thing, which is why all laws are misdemeanors now, which means they can get a search warrant for anything. You know, this sheriff acting like, you got a search warrant on a misdemeanor? Really?
So DA approved it out of Socorro?
Somewhere, yeah. Clovis somewhere.
Clovis, and then Pakistan was signed off on it.
Well, he has my personal phone and my work phone.
Okay.
So he's going to stay there until I get it cleared to my attorney first.
Fair enough.
Okay, so this is what's called professional courtesy. Will allow you. The sheriff agreed that the phones would stay here in their site. I'm okay with this. I just wouldn't have. Look, the warrant doesn't allow you to call your attorney. Once I serve a warrant, it's a warrant. If these were pesky citizens, this would not have happened. Now, look, you know, the old saying, doctors don't get the clap, lawyers don't get sued, cops don't get tickets. Every profession gives some sort of courtesy and helps other people. So to let him go do that since he left the cell phones, I would probably be okay with this. I mean, I would have already snagged the phones. We'd already escalated. As soon as I saw those phones, I was like, those phones are mine. And if they're sitting right there, I'm going to say, you know what? You can call who you want. I served you a warrant. Those phones are mine. I'm taking them and we're leaving. We're done. I have no reason to be here. And then they would either had to stop me or whatever. So, I mean, that's another opportunity that this guy could have went, look, I'm not hanging around. When you prolong things like this, it only gets worse. And you could tell this is going to get worse because they're allowing the game playing.
It doesn't have the case number on here for the original.
Guess what? I don't know if this sheriff's ever seen a damn warrant before. He's acting like the case number's there. Now he's going to try and find. So he's trying to play this legal, you know, and lawyers will do that on a scene. I've had lawyers, when I served a search warrant, try to say, you know what, I need to validate, and I don't give a shit what you need to do. This is a warrant. It's served. I'm here to serve it. It's served. I'm seizing the evidence, and I'm leaving. You can do whatever the hell you want. You're not a part of this warrant. But if you interfere, you're going to go to jail. Oh, you can't tell me I'm a lawyer. Whatever. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You know what? Warrant, the way it works is once you serve a warrant, it's served. You do it and you move on. You do not, there's not any provisional law that says once an officer gets a warrant, once he has it reviewed by the DA, once he has the judge signs it, once the warrant is recorded and it's served, you must now give at least 1 hour for every person to verify the warrant with their own attorney of their choosing, which could take an hour to 2 hours. And you must give them an opportunity to go get a writ to invalidate this. There ain't nothing that says that. So, you know what? I mean, you may call me a bootleg jackhammer for doing it, but I follow the law, and the law was, once I serve the warrant, I'm seizing the evidence and moving on. There's no requirement for me to let you, your attorney, or anyone else review, discuss, try to challenge. That's not the place. That's what we tell pesky citizens, right? Don't argue with the cops. Go to court. It applies the same for warrants. Once a warrant is served, you don't fight it on the street. You go to court later. It's been signed by a judge. They're serving it. They're going to seize it.
It's a PD case number. It doesn't have a magistrate or district case. This is in district court too, and this is a magistrate warrant. Okay? This case is already in district court.
Okay, so he's trying to play, he's saying district and, in California, superior, or, all courts are superior courts. Sometimes you have misdemeanor courts and what judges can sign warrants. And again, he's playing, I want to invalidate the warrant. Look, dude, I don't give a shit what your opinion is of the warrant. A DA said it was a good warrant, and the judge that signed it said they're a good warrant. They both have limited immunity. If they're wrong, you can sue them later if you want to try. I've got limited immunity because I have a signed warrant. I'm taking the damn phones, and I'm out of here. Or we're fighting over them. Your choice. But
you understand that this case is in district court, right? Did you get a district court judge to approve it?
District court judges don't do search warrants anymore. They just don't. They put them all down to magistrate.
Did you know that? I didn't know that.
They just...
Sounds like you don't know a lot of things, Mr. Sheriff. Now, the sheriff may be a good guy and maybe getting railroaded by the PD. I don't know. But to me, dude, you got a warrant. I got my phones. I think it's bullshit. I don't like it. But I know I can't fight it on the friggin' street. Take the fucking cell phones and we'll fight it out later. I'll go call my attorney on my time. I'll go through the warrant. I'll set the court. I'll try to get it suppressed. I'll say it's bullshit. I'll set up my lawsuit for later for, an unlock, whatever. You do all that shit on your time. You don't want to do it with guys standing around with guns. This is a bad move on the sheriff's part, in my opinion.
Don't do them.
Okay. What is it exactly are you looking for?
So it stipulates in there.
All warrants say, see, again, this sheriff doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. All warrants, you must list with specificity on what items to be seized. And I guarantee you in that warrant, it says, there's a section that says items to be seized. Work phone of Sheriff so-and-so and private personal cell phone of so-and-so. And it probably has the number next to them. It may have the NSN. It may have other identifying information where they did a check, depending on how thorough they did a warrant, on whether they checked on what services provided, etc. Because if I'm doing a warrant on a cell phone, I'm doing a warrant on the cell phone provider. Because I want to know where the cell phone's been. I want to know what texts were deleted. I want deleted voicemails that they've deleted. I want all that shit. And I'm going to get that through the service provider. So the warrant is in detail. So for the sheriff to go, what exactly are you looking for? You know what I'm looking for. I told you it's for your work phone and your cell phone. Not only did I tell you, you immediately reached in your pocket and gave it to your undersheriff. So don't play like you don't know what the fuck I'm looking for. You know damn well what I'm looking for, and you have a warrant in your hand. Now I'm taking the damn cell phones and I'm leaving. Rick, you're just a bootleg jack. Whatever.
Let me send this to me.
Okay, so the sheriff leaving, I don't have a problem with that. Because he doesn't have the phones. I got the evidence here. I got a problem with the cops hanging around with the evidence right here because they're trying to be politically correct. And the undersheriff and this guy acting like armed guards for the phone saying you're not taking them. That would be my issue. See, I don't like bootlegs no matter where it is. It is what it is. If you want other people to comply, if the laws apply to the pesky citizens, then they comply to everybody, including the sheriff and the cops and everyone else, judges, politicians. I know that's not reality, but in my world, that's the way it would be. What an annoying cell phone ring. Dude, really? Can you get a more annoying freaking ring?
Hello?
Wow. You have 3 units out there? Move on.
So, yeah.
You got all your units here, so.
I have all my units here.
Okay, so this cop's kind of like, why are all your units here? Did you go call him? By letting him run around, that's what you kind of create. It would be like me serving a warrant and letting the people in the house run around and call all their friends, and then I got 14 gang members that show up and I wonder why. Well, no shit, he's going to have his sheriff there. You're being a freaking pussy and not taking the damn phones and leaving. You're standing there with your hands in your pocket trying to be Mr. Nice Guy with your blue line mask, which automatically irritated me on this cop. But anyway, he kind of accuses the sheriff here of getting people. The sheriff gets offended, and now it gets personal. It gets more personal than it already is. This was personal before they ever showed up. And I'll show you the article afterwards, but this gets more personal now.
Who do you see here? The undersheriff, myself, the transport deputy, Leon's doing report. And so
Okay,
what are you
sounds good.
saying I'm going to do something?
Well, we don't know.
You don't know. Really, Ernest? Really?
Sure.
Wow. Okay, well then,
Right.
you can stand outside of my office.
Okay, so you don't know, now you can stand outside my office. The cops, I'm surprised they didn't leave. I mean, at this point, I'm even more like, not only am I not standing outside your office, I'm seizing these damn phones, and if any of your cronies touch me, they're going to jail for obstruction. Now, let's go. You want to play? Let's play. That shit would have went pretty... I mean, look, this is probably why they probably wouldn't have had me serve this guy. Because they knew how I operated. So anyway, so they got this guy who's PC and scared and going to be really nice. Whatever.
That's really bad, Ernest.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you noticed earlier, this guy picked up the phone and he's either carrying it or got in his pocket. This guy cannot leave my sight with those phones. Otherwise, I have a problem with, if I got a warrant and the evidence is so important, why did I let the undersheriff run around out of my control where he could have deleted, added, destroyed? He could have dunked it. He could have run it by a freaking song magnet underwater with freaking electrocuted it, pulling wires out of the socket and shorted. I mean, he could have done anything he wanted to this damn phone. And I'm letting him run around because, you know, I want to be a nice guy. Screw that.
So the district attorney is calling the lawyer. I'm assuming. So.
Leave it. Let them do what they're going to do, okay?
Deputy, sheriff running around, deputies in a parking lot. This stance right here is, both of these stances are pretty hands in front, projecting, don't come by me, I've got the phones. He's protecting his body and the phones. This guy's standing here like, you guys better not try nothing because I'm on this side and you're on the other side. So the line is definitely drawn and it ain't freaking the thin blue line, okay? This is the sheriff versus the police. This is government versus government. Yeah, your little thin blue line, whatever. Okay. Here goes the sheriff. Here's where they let the guy leave with the evidence that I'm seizing. Ain't no way this is happening. Ain't no freaking way that's happening. Bad police procedure. They have tainted evidence. When they go to court now, it's going to be like, why did you let the phone leave? Why did you have a warrant? The judge could hold these guys in contempt for not exercising the warrant because the judge signed a warrant to seize these items and now these cops didn't seize it. They let him leave with it. Bad.
42.
So he starts yelling at him and you notice this guy immediately moves in front of the door saying, you ain't going back there. So he's defending his building and his turf. And this guy figured out, I probably shouldn't have let him leave with that phone. And he tried, but it's too freaking late. See, your damn brain caught a cold because you shaved your head. And now, never mind. I don't want to crack on my follically challenged brothers.
Can you go up and grab the cell phones just for a minute?
Undersheriff, phones out of sight. They could have switched phones. The phones that they end up giving them at the end of this could be totally different phones. And these guys are going to look like idiots.
Yeah, we just wanted to have the phones up here.
I'll have to go call my attorney from my office and see he has my phones.
Oh, okay.
So now he comes out and shows them he still has the phones. Well, what the hell did you do with the phones when you were back there? Did you lock them? I mean, they used to have programs where you could send a bomb and it would delete all your contacts and all your text messages and all your voicemails. And if you called and pressed in a certain code, you could do it. I think they called it bombing a phone or, I don't know, info bomb. They used to have them because we used to have to stick them in these freaking little Faraday bags to prevent it getting an incoming signal so they couldn't delete all the shit. So I'm sure they got more advanced now, but to let evidence, especially digital evidence in a phone, leave and come back, man, this evidence is tainted, tampered, not controlled, violated the order. Just a bunch of things going wrong. I'm going to slow it down because when they talk.
I'm sorry, your phone. You have yours. Is this yours or mine? Okay. Is that his number? I don't know. It just says Nate. No, it's busy. I think he's on with the federal magistrate.
Make no mistake, this is a standoff right now.
Zach stated that the district attorney is calling your attorney.
Oh, the DA's calling my attorney? Oh,
I'm not sure. That's just what I was advised.
Jane. Hey, I've been trying to get a hold of Nate, and I thought maybe he was on the phone with you, but you're not answering me. They're here. On a final letter. Okay. Well, I'm gonna wait for Nate and see what he says. Yeah, I'm gonna talk with Nate. Yeah, I am. I understand. Okay. Okay. I'll get a hold of Nate now. Thank you.
Okay, so now he's saying, I'm going to wait for Nate. The cops ought to be like, you can wait for whoever you want. We're leaving with this. I mean, this is just frustrating to watch these cops allow this to go.
One opinion said it's an unlawful warrant.
All we know is that there's a third signature.
Also, now he's got one opinion that it's an unlawful warrant. Big freaking deal, dude. Doesn't matter if it's unlawful. Everybody's got immunity in the process, and they've got to seize the phones, and they're not leaving without the phones. That's just not the way it's going to happen. If they were going to leave without the phones, they would have never came to God. If their plan was, okay, we're going to go try and get these phones, he doesn't give it to him, we'll just leave, they wouldn't have showed up.
That's one right there.
Notice none of the sheriff are wearing face masks. I'm surprised the cops aren't trying to write them a ticket for that. Oh, I forgot. They're all part of the blue line. That's it. Okay, I'm thinking this is either the police chief or the deputy chief, because this guy comes in like these cops should have been doing it in the first place. And he's like, we're tired of this bullshit. We're moving it forward. Good for him.
He's trying to make contact with.
Morning, Undersheriff. Is he going to comply or no? Undersheriff. Waiting for his attorney to get him with us. Okay. We're going to be trying to call him, but he's busy. So he has the warrants. They're signed. They're legal. It's a court order. I know. You guys are just doing your job, but I don't want you guys in the middle of this. All we need are the phones. That's it. Well, once he gets his advice from his attorney, we'll do that. I got him. I don't know. You have your phone? His phones? Yes. Okay. Can I see him at least so I could give you that professional courtesy? Okay. So I don't.
Another opportunity. Look, you know what? Sheriff's in here. You need to give us the phones or we're going to take them. Or you're going to be under arrest. Give us the phones. We're done. Come on, people. Being a freaking bunch of pansies.
I understand with a legal order why why he's fighting. If you have them, that's all we want.
That's all right to talk to his attorney, right?
Yeah, but he has the court orders. So, you know, our attorney called his attorney. So she told him exactly what.
Which means absolutely nothing. I don't care how many attorneys call, how many attorneys, what they agree, what they talk about, where they're having freaking lunch. I don't care. I've got a signed court order from a judge. Those freaking phones are mine. As soon as I serve the warrant, I'm taking the phones.
Yeah, that's why he's not answering, because he's on the phone, because I didn't try to call him.
Okay. So I also tried to call Tomas Campos. You know, I don't want to take it there. I didn't want to go this far. Just want the phones that say we'll be out of your hair. I don't know.
Ain't gonna be out of nobody's hair in this place. Ain't nobody got a whole bunch of hair. We got a bunch of all follow. I'm sorry. I'll leave you guys alone. I know I piss off some of them. I'm losing my hair too, fellas. Don't get all butthurt.
Have you guys leave, I mean, we're making more of a show than anything. Nothing just happened.
Well, I'm not the one making the show. I had only sent these guys in here. You know, I just, again, we want the phone.
That's fine, you're probably gonna get the phone, but wait until he gets the
Well, as you know, Under Sheriff, it's not probably. There's a court order. You know, I don't want to. I really don't. I don't want to have to put anybody in cuffs. I don't. But if that's what I have to do,
Here comes the pushing back and forth. He's saying you didn't have to bring all these guys. He's saying I don't want to have to put people in cuffs. I love it when government fights government.
then I will do it. I don't want to do that.
And you're saying who?
Him.
Oh,
Because he's the one not complying with the court order. You know, if you have the phones, then we don't need to be having this conversation. You know, and that's just me. I don't want to do anything else. I just want the phones, and we're out of here. That's it. You know, we're trying to do. I tried to call you this morning and meet up, but because of time sensitivity, you know, I was trying to give you guys the professional courtesy.
you know what, Chief, I'm not surprised you guys are doing this.
Right.
You gotta do what you gotta do,
Right.
and that's on your shoulders.
Go ahead and let them Mark know that. Just keep one.
We don't work that way, Chief. If you guys wanna come, that's fine, you don't have to send them.
Well, I
You
didn't
know
know
why they're here,
Yeah,
you know me the better than that.
Right. I tried calling you, Under Sheriff. I tried calling, and it went straight to voicemail.
I'm not gonna get involved with
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I tried to be, you know, as low key as possible. I tried calling Tomas Campos. And,
You have all marked before you instead of here. Or yes, your level back for command one. Just keep one.
It gets good in a second here. This guy gets fed up and locks down the building.
I talked to him. I got you on the phone.
Again, we're letting the guy with the evidence roam free around the building. Outrageous.
I have the copy of the search warrant.
somebody else here.
I gave him copies.
Where are they?
What's that? The warrants?
You asked for them, or did you?
No, he gave them to me. Okay. Search me. You have a search warrant for my person?
Are you going to comply, yes or no?
So now we're leaving the cell phones inside with the guys.
That's all I want. I want the phones. That's it.
I told you. You have your search warrant says to search me for personal phones?
He has the phones. He already told me he has the phones.
Okay.
So now the sheriff is trying to play legal, outsmarting people that the search warrant is to search me for my phones. You can search me. I'll comply with the warrant. You can search me, but I don't have the phones on me. You can't do that, and he knows you can't. It's clearly obstruction, and it's clearly tampering with evidence. And you know what? These cops are just being wimps about it.
That's not what the search warrant says, does it?
Okay, so you want us to lock down the sheriff's office? Go ahead and call them back. You're going to stay out here, sir. Stay out here. For what? Because
So he lost it. He told the sheriff to stay out. He didn't make him stay out. The sheriff goes, screw you. So now they're locking down the sheriff because they let this go. They had the phones, and I see this more and more in law enforcement. If you just do the job and get it done faster, less people get killed and hurt, and usually it escalates and it's handled better. But with this pansy freaking left wing, you and me hug a tree, freaking rainbow flag, 14 bathroom society we live in, where everybody's got to kiss each other in order to get anything done, this is what happens.
no, Under Sheriff,
You can go through the court system.
we are. We're going to lock down this building until he gives me those.
So now the undersheriff has blocked his path, See, again, you got the phones. I would snatch this dude right by the freaking chest and yank him out of that building, and I'd have one cop hold the door shut, and we would take those damn phones, and it would be done. But you know what? Everybody wants to be a nice guy. Rick, you're just a big bootleg. Whatever.
Yes, that's what the DA's office is. Really? Yeah, where's that on paper? You can call her. Andrea Reed, you want her number? He's going out.
So now the sheriff is leaving out the back door. And to be honest, it doesn't matter what the sheriff does. The sheriff can leave. He doesn't have the phones. The guy in front of you have the phones. You're there for the phones. The phone is the focus of this investigation, not people. Now we're locking down a complete building because we're allowing one guy to hold phones. Piss poor, dumbass procedures.
You're not going to stop me.
So this guy comes out, blocks his path, and protects the sheriff. So this guy's going to be a hero later. He'll probably get promoted and shit. But anyway, now the sheriff is going to tell him, you ain't stopping me. Really?
For leaving if I want to leave. Am I under arrest?
If we have to.
Am I under arrest?
Not
Get-
now.
Get away from
Not
me.
now.
Am I under arrest? Get away from me. He just punked you, dude. Dude, you got punked! What's up with that? The SO got punked by the sheriff. I freaking love it. And you know what? The sheriff's right. But Rick, they have a search warrant. You said they have a search warrant for the phones. They know where the phones are at. They do not have a search warrant to impede and grab other people. They have a warrant for the phones. Grab the freaking phones. Stay focused, you freaking idiots. You're acting like the coyote running around with the roadrunner. You're chasing the wrong freaking thing.
Go back inside. We're going to lock down the office. Please, go back in the office. Seriously, please don't.
Whoa! How many people think if a pesky citizen touched another police officer, he wouldn't be arrested for assault? I was in fear of my life. I shot him. Why is the rules different when government deals with different? Because you pesky citizens allow government to do this shit. That's why.
Back up.
You can go in the office, but
Back up. Don't reach. Back up.
Go inside. Because you're not certified, so
Back up.
Okay, that was some sort of slight because you're not certified. I don't know if that guy is an investigation. He might be one of the focus of the investigation. I don't know, but that little slight, this guy right here just kind of punked him by saying, you're not certified. So you can't put your hands on me because you're not a peace officer. I mean, this is all just Mickey Mouse BS to me. Nobody wants to freaking pull the trigger. Get the damn phones and leave.
so we have to have somebody here.
I just want to be advised from the stand by here.
Man, I would love to hear the radio traffic on this. All PD units respond to Sheriff's Office. We're locking down the building. What the hell?
So don't let anybody leave that back door. He's got 3, maybe 4 deputies. The undersheriff, Billy, and the sheriff are all in there. He's refusing to comply.
Now, this cop has no idea why they have authority or what's the authority to lock him down. What does he do if somebody tries to leave? Does he arrest him? Does he tackle him? Can he shoot him? Is deadly force authorized? Can he use force at all? Can he handcuff him? Can he arrest him? What can he arrest him for? That guy in the car has no reason other than what the cop said. Don't let anybody leave that back door.
Yeah, for a minute. My whole unit here. Stand by.
So he's not complying. He doesn't want to give up the phones. He gave the phones to the undersheriff and said, search me. No.
So this guy's got 3 stars. I don't know how many stars the other guy that was talking has. Maybe he was the deputy chief. Maybe this is the chief. I don't know what. I think the other guy's the chief because he says later the sheriff jumps on him about, I don't think you ought to be the police chief.
Knowing that he gave the phones to the undersheriff. They're not voluntarily giving them up, so we're going to lock down the building.
Give him live, Nico.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for the sheriff?
You have my phone?
Yes.
Okay. It's all been done.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Supreme Court to come back.
So are you refusing? Is that what you're saying?
You gotta ask if he's refusing. He's tried to leave, told you to get the hell out of there, and now you're still asking, are you refusing? Man, they don't raise them too smart in this department.
Refusing
Sheriff,
what?
you're refusing a lawful order from the
It's not a lawful order. He's refusing a court order.
judge.
What judge?
Judge Gonzalez.
On what case is that on?
On my case. You have the search warrant.
On your case?
Yeah, you have the search warrant. Yep.
Dude, this dude's got tattoos all over his neck. What's up with that? Is that tattoo? Maybe that's a birthmark. I don't. Rick, why are you picking on his birthmark? I thought it was a tattoo. Relax.
The case is going to district court, right?
You continue
It's
to
a district
continue
court
to
judge
resist
has this
and
case,
You're
right?
showing a pattern of behavior, Sheriff.
Really?
Yes.
It's a pattern of
Already
harassment.
twice.
Okay, so he slams in a pattern behavior. See, there's personal things here, and this goes back to the sheriff communicating with felons that the PD's trying to arrest.
He was what it
Already
is.
twice.
Retaliation and
Twice.
harassment is what it
Twice.
is.
That's okay. You have your opportunity in court. I'm here
So
asking.
will you on a misdemeanor.
Okay, for now. For now.
I've
For
done
now.
nothing. Are you
Then
accusing me
why
of
not?
something else?
Then why not give me the phones?
I told you I'm seeking legal counsel first. I have that right. Do I not have a right to?
No, you do not have the right to seek legal counsel. You absolutely do not. You have the right not to talk to me. You have the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You do not have the right to seek counsel in the middle of a search warrant until I can serve a search warrant. You do not have the right to delay me in order to seek legal counsel. No, you don't, Sheriff. You don't know the law. And evidently the PD don't either.
seek
You have the
legal
legal
counsel?
order. You have
I
the
do.
legal order.
And it doesn't say how long I have to give it to you, does it?
It says now.
Does
yes,
it?
yes.
Show me.
It's a court order.
Okay, again, the sheriff doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. It doesn't say how long I have to give it to you. Warrants are served and they're executed immediately upon service. There is no such thing as they must give it to you within 5 minutes. They must give it to you within 30 minutes. That's just ridiculous. Stupid sheriff showing his ignorance.
You have the copies.
It says now.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you get a search warrant. You just do it whenever you want. Has today's date on it.
Search warrant if I want.
So I'm serving it.
It's making this way more difficult than it needs to be.
I'm trying to find something that the cops did right here, but both sides are doing so much stupid shit that's why this is what we call a bucket. Or a shit sandwich, whatever you want to call it.
I have the news over here too.
Yeah, I didn't call him.
I called the news. Again, I've been trying to do this as much as possible. You could have called me. I did call you, Sheriff. You didn't answer. You could have called me this morning. And tell you what, obviously I can't trust you. You're holding on to evidence.
Okay, at first he says, I did try to call you and you didn't answer. But now it says, obviously I can't trust you. You're holding on to evidence. So either you trust him when you called him or you didn't trust him and you didn't call him. Which one is it? Again, talking and getting into these illogical circular logic crap, it never goes anywhere. Do your freaking job, snag the freaking phones and left. Had you done this earlier, you'd have been gone.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say, Sheriff? Okay. Okay, exactly.
I know what I'd say. You're under arrest for obstruction, and now I'm going to take the phones after I arrest you because it's going to be search incident to arrest and per the warrant. Get your ass out of here. Snatch. See, officers just don't snatch people quick enough.
They got the news here too, so
Not news. She's not news. She's a blogger.
Sheriff, it would just be so much easier if you just give us these phones. And
I don't
let
have
us
the
go.
phones, do I?
Well, no, but
Oh, so now he's playing I don't have the phones, do I? See? I mean, this is so stupid. This is a great obstruction case on the sheriff for obstructing a search warrant. He gave the phones after he was served to somebody. It's like, okay, sheriff, if you're so smart, if I have a bag of dope in my hands and a cop comes up and serves me with a warrant, I can hand it to my friend and say, I don't have the dope. Go ahead and search me. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. How the hell did this guy get elected sheriff?
I saw you give them to your undersheriff who has them in his pocket. So just the knowledge of that.
Give him the phones. This is all harassment and retaliation because I told the city council that you shouldn't be the chief.
Okay, so that's why I think this guy's the chief that's talking to him, because he said you shouldn't be the chief. I didn't see his rank, so the 3-star must be the deputy chief or something.
That's what it is.
Think whatever you want.
I don't think, I know.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
You
Go ahead and give it to him. These phones are not to be gone through. until you have a warrant for the content. You only have a warrant for the phones,
You're
not the
absolutely right.
content.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, the fact that he said that and the fact that the cop acknowledged he was right, what kind of idiot gets a warrant for a phone and you don't add into the warrant the authority to search the phone? And you do have to put that in. If I do a warrant, I want to seize the phone for evidence. I also want the phone to be forensically examined for text, blah, 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 and I'm going to do it on, I mean, you would put that in a warrant. Why would they get a warrant just to seize the phones? That doesn't make sense. Now, it's an easy warrant to get a second warrant to go to the contents. All I have to do is I do a second warrant, but now I got to go get it approved. I got to do a piggyback warrant on this warrant. I got to attach this warrant in my warrant, and I have to say, I have a warrant, see attached warrant, where I seize 2 cell phones from the sheriff. This warrant is to examine these phones for blah, 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 and I want to have these phones searched and examined and be able to seize evidence off these phones. Now I have to go and get a DA to approve it and a judge to sign it to do another warrant. That's just, why wouldn't you do that in the same warrant, dude? But that's just me.
And good luck, and you better not come through a magistrate. You better go through a district court judge.
Thank you, Undersheriff.
Cool.
Thank you.
So now the sheriff is telling them what court to go through, which you can't do. I mean, it's kind of BS. Let me get to the article on this. So according to this article, this is where the service, this is the sheriff. And if you come down here and read this article, it's not real clear, but it gives you a better. District attorney issued a warrant, part of an investigation into a misdemeanor charge filed for evading, resisting, and obstructing an officer. The sheriff is accused of showing up drunk at a SWAT standoff on March 21, according to a criminal complaint. The complaint was written, refused, so the sheriff refused, despite commands from officers, to leave the scene. He smelled like alcohol and appeared to have trouble balancing. If that was true, why didn't they arrest the sheriff for drunk in public? Had a citizen done that, he would have been arrested for drunk in public and obstruction. Why didn't they arrest him? Okay, sheriff told he was communicating with Philip, the man at the target of the SWAT. So the sheriff was communicating with him. That's why they want the phone. While officers tried to serve a search warrant, the sheriff crossed the inner perimeter into the scene called the hot zone. The sheriff probably just said, hey, this is my county. I can go where the hell I want. You ain't keeping me out, because he was under the influence. And nobody wanted to arrest him. I got another crazy cop story where the sheriff came in one of our homicides saying we had a shooting and the sheriff's there. And one of the other DA investigators, it was funny as shit, said, Sheriff, unless you're working this investigation, you need to get out of my crime scene. Man, the sheriff had a shit fit. What the hell? I'm going to call the DA. Who the hell do you think? And it was a big scandal, but whatever. Anyway, I digress. All right, so Tompkins declined to comment. The search warrant for sheriff included the information on the search warrant served earlier. It sounds like they served a search warrant earlier on a city council member of a the sheriff also included information from another search warrant served earlier this week for a cell phone of a council member. So obviously they know that these people are communicating or interfering with warrants or communicating with people, and they're trying to find out if they're compromising investigations. Officers had difficulty getting residents under sheriff. So the undersheriff evidently showed up and tried to obstruct also. The sheriff continued to show a pattern, arriving at active scenes with the police department, according to the search warrant, offered no assistance. Positive outcome. Let's see, appointed special prosecutor. Sounds like they juggled it around a few courts. So this article isn't really clear, but it obviously shows there's some conflict between the PD and the sheriff. I thought this was an interesting video. I know it went long. Hopefully you got something out of it. We'll end that there.